J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs are both forecasting $3,000 an ounce gold and paltry returns for stocks. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Call 888-753-1647 for a free investor guide today. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 7 years in a row. Call 888-753-1647. Good afternoon. I'm still reporting on the world's biggest robbery ever. 7 GOP officials are now investigating a last-minute decision by the Biden-Harris administration officials which handed over $20 billion in so-called climate-related funding to none other than disgraced one-time Georgia House member Stacey Abrams, possibly to create a gigantic slush fund for her and her far-left pals seeking high political office in coming years. According to Lee Zeldin, a former U.S. House of Representatives member from New York's 1st District, who is now heading up the Environmental Protection Agency for the Trump administration, 7 GOP officials are now investigating whether over the years this group of crooked politicians looted a remarkable $378 billion, money which has been used to buy their way into political victories which they did not earn honestly over the years. For comparison, last year's presidential race set a new fundraising record. Together, both candidates raised and spent almost $4.2 billion in the 2024 presidential race. However, this newly discovered Democrat political slush fund over the years could have stolen nearly 100 times that amount. Newsmax broke this story early this afternoon.
Several GOP officials are now investigating a last-minute decision in the Biden-Harris administration to release $20 billion in climate-related funding right before leaving office. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin believes the programs were part of a larger $378 billion slush fund that's allegedly been funneling money to top Democratic donors for years. And Zeldin says the slush fund was reportedly being run by a former senior advisor to Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and the Clinton family.
Wow. Our national correspondent, Alana Austin, has the details from Capitol Hill. Alana, what are you learning?
So far, there was hundreds of billions of dollars that John Podesta, the top Democratic strategist, oversaw as part of a climate energy initiative. But now Trump administration officials are questioning some of these dollars. Obviously, this is a huge amount of cash that was pushed through, about $20 billion at the last minute before Joe Biden left office. And Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, is questioning the timing. Now it's raising alarms as well with several watchdog groups. Zeldin points out that some of these organizations, like Power Forward Communities, were only formed shortly before being awarded the grant dollars. That organization, tied to Stacey Abrams, received a grant of $2 billion. Again, Democratic strategist John Podesta, who ran Hillary Clinton's unsuccessful 2016 campaign, oversaw the dispersal of more than $370 billion to various groups. Former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams and Podesta are defending the work, though, saying this was above board and part of an aggressive approach to confronting climate change. But Kentucky GOP Congressman Brett Guthrie, who oversees the GOP-led House Energy and Commerce Committee, says he is suspicious of some of these dollars, and they will be investigating that this term.
The committee has highlighted some of the funding recipients are led by political allies of the Biden administration, raising questions over whether they were rewarded funds because they were the most deserving applicant, or if funding decisions were driven by other factors.
Lori Styron, who is the CEO of Charity Watch, a nonpartisan organization, says that it is worth looking into. This is such a high amount of cash that's involved, and also the lack of paper trail for these organizations that received huge sums of money.
You want to make sure that the charities you are giving large grants to have a track record have a demonstrated track record of being able to use those funds efficiently and responsibly, and to also, have a record of reporting back to those foundations or the government how they spent the funds.
Now, of that $20 billion pot of money, Lee Zeldin says there's about 8 organizations that were functioning as pass-throughs and went to sub-grantees. Now, that is another red flag for Lori Styron, who says the middlemen here, there needs to be further oversight.
A significant amount of the money went to what appeared to be middlemen organizations or intermediary organizations that the government granted the money to, and those organizations will later be distributing large portions of that money to other organizations. Now, anytime you insert additional intermediaries between the tax dollars and the end recipient, there's typically going to be another layer of administrative expenses.
Power Forward Communities is responding in a statement to Newsmax, pushing back on the allegations, saying here, over the years, the members of the Power Forward Communities Coalition have collectively deployed or invested over $100 billion in community-based housing, health, environmental, and economic development initiatives, and have created or preserved over 1.4 million affordable homes. Now, Styron says in general they don't want to make any allegations here that there was criminal activity. But again, these investigations by the FBI, the DOJ, and the Inspector General's office, in their view, are certainly warranted.
Alana, that's not all. We're learning President Trump and his officials within the administration have said they want to actually get this money back for taxpayers. What's the status of that goal?
So about $20 billion were frozen at Citibank by the Department of Treasury. That's part of that gold bars scheme that an official with the Biden-era administration said they were throwing off of the Titanic, getting those $20 billion out. Some of those funds were actually released, so that's going to be pretty difficult to get back. If any type of criminal penalties or some type of civil litigation moves forward, they could then recoup that money potentially. But we're talking lengthy legal battles, and these groups, they're certainly going to be fighting back against these claims.
This is a big story, Emma, and I think more and more details are going to come out here once DOJ looks around at this, once the current administration starts digging around. I mean, look at this. We talk about billions and millions all the time, but I mean, $378 billion slush fund. Let's put that in perspective. $300 billion is what the U.S. has sent over to Ukraine for its war against Russia. So this is a lot of money. John Podesta, he's a big player on the left. Just some of this is his resume. He served as the senior advisor to the president for clean energy. In 2008, he served as the co-chair to Obama's transition team. And he was also, as Alana alluded to, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. I mean, we're gonna turn over some stones here and figure out where this money went.
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.